45. Preparations for the Journey, Part 2. After having lunch at Terry's shop, I went back to the inn to get my armor and other gear, then headed to our usual training spot outside of town. Serena and Sharon said they wanted wooden swords too, so we bought some at the same nearby shop where Claria had gotten hers. They seemed thrilled with their first wooden swords, swinging them around excitedly. I really wish they'd stop though. It's dangerous to do that in the middle of town. Alan, Claria asked, just how skilled are Serena and Sharon with a sword? Well, how should I put this? Oh, we're not that skilled at all, Sharon chimed in. It's been a very long time since we've even held a sword, so we were thinking of starting over from the very basics. Well, it's true. Even if their knowledge of Corinthian swordsmanship has been updated, I can't imagine they'd suddenly be able to fight at my level. After all, back on my home planet, I was a former world-ranked fighter. Is that so? Sharon, if you don't mind, could I join you in your practice? I've been wanting to learn Corinthian swordsmanship from the fundamentals. Alan isn't exactly the best teacher, you know? Ouch. I admit I haven't been actively teaching her swordsmanship, but that's because I figured the style she's been learning is more established and superior to my own. Of course, I don't mind, but we'll really be starting from the absolute basics. That's exactly what I want. I look forward to it, said Claria. In that case, please allow me to join as well. I'm also interested in Alan's swordsmanship, Elna added. It seemed like everyone was going to learn the Corinthian style together. I found it incredibly embarrassing and wished they'd reconsider. When we arrived at our usual training spot, Sharon's lesson on Corinthian swordsmanship began. Sharon explained the core concepts, basic stances, footwork, and steps while Serena demonstrated. Of course, the fundamental stances and footwork were all the default ones from the game. Still, Sharon is really good at organizing data. Her explanations were so well structured and easy to understand that I found myself listening intently along with the others. Claria and Elna, being experienced with swords, picked up the basics without any trouble. Next are the combination attacks, what we call combos in the Corinthian style. Serena demonstrated as Sharon explained. The combo she was showing now wasn't actually Corinthian style, but one of the default skills programmed into the game. It looked like I could leave the training to Sharon, so I decided to practice magic on my own. Right now, I'm working on improving the functionality of my mana sensor. Iris gave me a few technical suggestions, and I'm in the process of testing them out. When I say testing, though, there isn't much for me to do. Nanom has already built the hardware improvements and handles the settings automatically. After several hours of various experiments, I managed to increase the mana sensor sensitivity by about 30%. It seems Iris's suggestions were effective after all. The others also seem to have gained a lot from their sword practice, so we decided to call it a day and head back to town. Sharon and Serena are good teachers, a world of difference from Alan, Claria remarked. I agree, said Elna. I feel like I'm finally starting to understand what Corinthian swordsmanship is all about. That's harsh, both of them. Am I really that bad of a teacher? Our sword skills are still very basic, Sharon said. When we get to the more advanced material, we'll have Alan teach us. Ugh, please spare me from that. Back at the inn, we took a short break, and soon it was time for dinner. We gathered in the dining hall, and the food was served right away. Tonight's menu seemed to be tempura and fried trout with a side of tartar sauce for the fish. Yesterday was tonkatsu and karaage, and today it's tempura and fried fish. They're all fried dishes, but serving them together feels a little odd. Maybe I should have a talk with Barth about it. That said, delicious food is delicious food, and lately the inn's cooking has become quite famous in the area. Apparently, many of the guests specifically request these unusual fried dishes, so perhaps it can't be helped. Everyone was digging in, asking for seconds. That was so good. I ate too much again. The food from Earth really lives up to its reputation, Sharon said. So these dishes are from a region in your country called Chiku, Claria asked. That's right. To be precise, they're from a place on Earth called Japan. I see. So you're quite knowledgeable about the cuisine from this place called Nihon, Claria pressed. I suppose, but it's not just Japanese food. I remember recipes from many different regions. Is that so? Then it seems we have a lot to look forward to at mealtimes. After dinner, it was time for my side job. Serena and Sharon offered to help, so I gladly accepted. They both seemed full of motivation. The task was simple: draw magic circles on paper and paint over them with a designated magical fluid. With nanome support, it was just a matter of tracing virtual lines projected onto the paper, basically a coloring book. It shouldn't be a problem. I created an image with the dimensions and specifications for the paper we'd cut for the magic circles and sent it to Serena and Sharon via nanom. They started drawing without any issues. It seemed to be going smoothly. We finished the magic circles for 30 units in about 2 hours. Having 3 people makes a huge difference. I'd already prepared the magical wiring in other parts, so all that was left was to assemble everything once the casings and switches arrived from the subcontracted workshop. I thanked Serena and Sharon and asked if they'd be willing to help again when the casings arrived. Their initial enthusiasm had faded a bit, maybe because the work wasn't as magical as they'd expected. Starting tomorrow, we begin our travel preparations. For now, I'll take a bath and head to bed. The next morning, after finishing the now standard breakfast of hearty, stuffed sandwiches, we all headed to Tarsan's shop. The others needed to buy various personal items for the journey as well. When we arrived, Yana-san was already there. A horseless carriage was parked in front of the shop. It looked like he'd been getting things ready for us. Good morning, Yana-san. Good morning, Alan-san. And to all of you as well. Right this way. I've gathered a selection of items you might need for your journey in this corner here. I looked over and saw a wide variety of goods laid out on a large table. Folded tarps, food supplies, glass jars, a whole collection of things I couldn't identify without an explanation. Unfortunately, I couldn't arrange for a brand new carriage on such short notice, so this one is used. Yana-san called it used, but it looked quite new, like it hadn't been long since it was built. It looks very clean for a used carriage. Yes, it's a 2-horse carriage that our trading company was using. It's been in service for less than a year. This is great. We'll take this carriage. Will you be able to arrange for horses? I did a quick search, but I couldn't find any suitable horses right away. Of course, I'll have them ready for you by the time you depart. I'm sorry for the trouble. Yes, please, that would be wonderful. After that, we went through his recommended items and decided what to buy. Elna was the most knowledgeable about this sort of thing in our group, so we mostly left it to her and Yonasan. In addition to the recommended goods, I decided to buy some cooking utensils like pots and a fire magic tool, as well as seasonings. The others picked out various small items and sundries. As expected, we ended up with a considerable amount of luggage, far too much to carry without a carriage. I had a nagging feeling we might have forgotten something, but compared to when I traveled with Beck and Thor, our supplies were vastly more abundant. There shouldn't be any problems. How much will it all be? I still haven't found the horses, so you can pay on the day of your departure. We'll hold on to the carriage and the luggage for you until then. Ah, that's a huge help. Yes, let's do that, please. That was a relief. I was short on cash at the moment, so that was incredibly helpful. By the way, is Tarsan in? If it's all right, I was thinking of introducing you to the branch manager of the Magicians Guild. He is. He will be waiting for you at the residence. Claria and the others wanted to browse some clothing stores, so we decided to split up. When I arrived at the Magicians Guild, the branch manager was already waiting, dressed in what looked like her Sunday best. Good morning, branch manager. Tarsan is home, so shall we go and greet him now? Good morning, Alan. I've been waiting. Oh, I'm so nervous. Today is a fateful day for this branch. Alan, you'll back me up if anything happens, right? Of course. But Tarsan is a very friendly person, so I don't think you'll have any problems. The branch manager was unusually quiet on the way to the mansion. She seemed genuinely tense. As usual, Willie was sweeping in front of the mansion, so I called out to him. Hey Willie, I have an appointment with Tarsan. I heard, Alan-san. Please, come to the business room. We were shown to the business room immediately. Alan, you're quite familiar with them, the branch manager commented. Well, I did stay here for a couple of days not long ago. Unbelievable. To think you were a guest in this mansion. On the table in the business room sat the hairdryer I had made. Soon, Tarsan and Yonasan arrived, and tea was served at the same time. Good morning, Tarsan. A pleasure to meet you. My name is Kara, and I am the head of this city's branch of the Magicians Guild. Thank you for taking the time to see me today. Right, the branch manager's name was Kara.
I always just called her branch manager, so it felt a bit strange. A pleasure to meet you, Kara-san. I am Tars, and this is Jonas, who manages the shop for me. Thank you for coming all this way. To get right to it, I began. I'm pleased to report that the Guild's branch manager has agreed to handle the maintenance for the magic tools we'll be delivering. Is that so? That's very reassuring, Tarsan said. And from what Alan-san has told me, you are also able to create new versions of that magic tool? Yes, a magic tool like that is no problem at all, the branch manager affirmed.
In fact, I added, just to be supportive, the branch manager is my master, so I believe she can make something even better. That's very encouraging to hear. In that case, I apologize for the sudden request, but in addition to the order I placed with Alan-san, I'd like to order another 30 units. Would that be a problem? Of course not. No problem at all. Would you like them to be the same model? No, while the one Alan-san made for us is perfectly fine, we'd like a more luxurious finish for our noble clients. That made sense. The one I made was for our own use. It probably wasn't a product for a noble. For nobility, I understand. I have worked on such magic tools before. It should be no problem. I will bring you a prototype so you can see it for yourself, the branch manager said. Oh, that would be a great help. Let's see. We'd like you to create them with a wholesale price of around 40,000 guineas, not including the magic stone. Wow, that was double the price of the one I made. This was going to be quite a luxury item. For 30 units, that's a total of 1,200,000 guineas. I glanced at the branch manager and saw the corners of her mouth twitching. She must be trying her best not to break into a grin. Understood. It would be boring to make them exactly the same, wouldn't it? Shall I add a feature to adjust the power output? And what would that entail? Jonas-san asked. I will add a mechanism here that moves up and down, allowing you to control the amount of warm air. I see, like the fire magic tools used for cooking. That would certainly make it easier to use. Oh, that's an excellent idea. Please do add that feature, Jonas-san said enthusiastically. After that, the branch manager, Tarsan, and Jonas-san started discussing materials and finishes. It was all Greek to me, so I just sat quietly and listened. They wrapped up their discussion in about 30 minutes. Then I shall bring you a prototype as soon as possible. Should I come to the shop when I visit? No, you are welcome to come to this residence, though I may be absent at times, said Tarsan. Understood. I shall do that. Well then, Tarsan, thank you for your time, I said, making sure to be polite. Not at all. Thank you for introducing us to such a wonderful person. She is truly worthy of being Alan-san's master. We look forward to working with you. Hearing that, the branch manager beamed. We then took our leave of Tarsan's mansion. Alan, I'm not dreaming, am I? 1,200,000 guineas in a single deal. And on top of that, a direct business relationship with Tarsan. It's unbelievable. I'm glad it worked out. Now I can leave this town with peace of mind. That's right. You're leaving town, aren't you? Alan, could you help me with something? It would be a huge help if you could just do the preliminary drawings for the magic circles on those tools. The preliminary drawings for the magic circles? Not a problem at all. If it's just the circles, I could probably draw one in about 3 minutes. It's painting them with the magical fluid that takes time, not drawing them. Sure. How many should I draw? As many as possible. How about 1,000 guineas per sheet? I would have done it for free, but I suppose there are costs for paper and ink. 100 guineas per sheet is fine. How many is as many as possible? I can draw 100, even 200. Alan, that's far too cheap. Setting the price that low will cause problems for other guild members. Make it 1,000 guineas. Let's say 50 sheets. All right, thank you. I'm a bit short on funds for the trip, so this is a great help. 1,000 guineas times 50 sheets is 50,000 guineas. Getting paid that much for just 2 or 3 hours of work is enough to mess with your sense of money. Don't mention it. You're the savior of our branch. As long as you have them ready before you leave, it's fine. Now I'm going to be busy. First, I need to go consult with the workshop's master.
The branch manager seemed to be in a hurry, so we parted ways, and I headed back to the inn. When I got back to the inn, Claria and the others hadn't returned from their shopping yet. I asked Sarah-chan for some tea, and Barth came over with cookies and sat down at the table. Hey, Alan, how are the travel preparations coming along? Yeah, no problems. We could be leaving in as early as 3 days. I see. That's a shame. I was hoping you'd teach me some more recipes. Sorry, things got so sudden. Tell you what, if you're free this afternoon, I'll help you out. How about we try making a few different dishes? Barth has helped me out a lot. I want to repay his kindness, even if it's just a little. Whoa, that's my Alan. Now you're talking. All right, let's go to the market this afternoon and stock up on ingredients. Sounds good. Let's do it. In that case, I'll help you with lunch too. What's on the menu today? Lunch at Barth's Inn isn't based on customer orders. It's basically a set meal. The menu is decided by whatever Barth feels like making. Let's see. I was thinking of fried rice and soup. The soup's already done, and I've got a huge pot of rice cooked. I went into the kitchen with Barth to check the ingredients.
How many people are we cooking for? Well, some guests eat out, so about 15 servings should do it. All right, I'm thinking of making a dish called oma rice. It's similar to fried rice, but the seasoning and presentation are different. Let's make a test batch first. We had plenty of tomatoes and eggs, so it was perfect. First, I sautéed minced garlic in oil until fragrant, then added chopped onions. Next, I added a large amount of finely chopped tomatoes and let them simmer down. Once the sauce had thickened nicely, I seasoned it with salt, pepper, and a little sugar. And there you have it, a quick tomato sauce. Next, I sautéed finely chopped chicken thighs, then added more chopped onions. I mixed in the rice until it was well combined, seasoning it with the tomato ketchup we always had on hand, plus salt, pepper, and a splash of soy sauce as a secret ingredient. And with that, the chicken rice was complete. I set it aside on a plate for now. Now for the main event, making the oma rice. I beat some eggs and spread them thinly in a hot frying pan. I was aiming for that fluffy, soft-set omelet to top the rice. When it was just right, I placed the chicken rice on top of the thin omelet and carefully folded it over. A few taps on the pan and it was perfectly wrapped. It seemed to have worked out well. I plated it, poured a generous amount of the fresh tomato sauce over the top, and sprinkled it with herbs. The oma rice was complete. So that's the basic idea. Let's give it a taste. Whoa, this looks amazing. The egg was light and runny, a perfect match for the chicken rice inside and the tomato sauce on top. I was satisfied with how it turned out. This is delicious, Alan, but I've never seen a dish that looks so strange. This is sure to be a big hit. Glad you like it. The trick to this dish is to finish the egg while it's still soft set when you wrap it. Why don't you give it a try? All right, let's do it. As expected, he didn't get it right on the first try, but on his second attempt, he nailed it. A true professional chef. We were discussing variations of oma rice, like different omelet styles and other ways to wrap the egg, when the first lunch orders started coming in. Barth and I silently began making oma rice. After just a few tries, Barth's oma rice was perfect. The customers are really surprised. They say it's delicious and it's getting great reviews, Sarah-chan reported. I knew it. Alan, let's crank 'em out. You got it. This is actually kind of nice for a change. It's a lot of fun, right? Alan, you should quit being an adventurer and come work for me. Haha, I can't do that. I've got my friends and there are things I want to do. Well, I figured as much. I had only ever cooked for myself or my friends before, but cooking for customers in a restaurant, it was a fresh, rewarding, and fun experience. Just as we had made over 10 servings of oma rice, Sarah-chan came into the kitchen. Alan-san, Ria and the others are back. Oh, are they? Okay, I'll go say hi. Claria and the others had their shopping bags and seemed to have just returned. Ah, Alan, I'm sorry we're so late. We had trouble deciding what to buy, said Serena. The others also looked apologetic. Frankly, I was just glad I didn't have to go shopping with them. It's totally fine. Let's have lunch here today. Actually, I've been cooking, so you have to try it. Okay, we'll go put our things away right now. I went back to the kitchen and immediately started making their oma rice. Barth, sorry, but we're eating here for lunch today. Lunch at this inn isn't included in the room price, so I usually try to eat out. Not that I'd actually paid for the room yet. What are you talking about? Don't be a stranger. Eat as much as you want.
The two of us made 5 servings of oma rice and carried them out to the dining hall. Everyone was already seated. "Oh, what's this? Is it an egg dish?" Claria asked. "It's more of a rice dish. Well, let's just dig in." "What is this? There's fried rice inside the egg," Claria exclaimed. "Well, it's a dish where something like fried rice is wrapped in an egg. It's called oma rice." "Oma rice-u. You never cease to amaze, Alan. This dish is exceptionally delicious." "It's truly delicious. The runny, soft-set egg is to die for," Serena gushed. The reviews were excellent. Everyone was eating with gusto. I'd made Claria's a large portion, but it looked like it would be gone in no time. "Sorry, but this afternoon I'm planning to hang out with Barth and teach him some cooking. Is that okay?" "I think you should do whatever you like, Alan. The owner of this inn has been very good to us," said Claria. "In that case," Sharon said, "we will go and practice our sword skills like yesterday. We'd like to go to the Adventurers Guild tomorrow or the day after." That's right. Serena and Sharon hadn't registered as adventurers yet. They probably wanted to practice for the assessment test. "Then Elna and I will join you," Claria declared. "All right, so we'll be going our separate ways this afternoon." Everyone finished their oma rice in a flash, had some tea to relax, and then headed out for their sword training. When I returned to the kitchen, Barth was practicing making oma rice by himself. It looked like he was making lunch for his wife.
Hey, Alan, hang on a sec. Once I finish this, how about we head to the market? A little early, but what do you say? Yeah, sounds good. After Barth quickly finished the oma rice, we headed out to the market together. So, what kind of dishes should I teach you? Well, if you have any, how about another unusual dish like oma rice? No ordinary chef would ever come up with an idea like that. I see. An unusual dish, huh? In that case, maybe pizza or pasta would be good. I've been to various eateries in this town, but I haven't seen anything like them. Let's go with an Italian theme today. Risotto might be good too. Ah, but making pizza dough from scratch right now would be tough. Yeast doesn't exist on this planet yet. They seem to use natural leaveners. It would probably take hours to make the dough. Are you proofing any bread dough today? Yeah, we've still got customers who order bread, and whatever's left over, we turn into breadcrumbs. It seemed his passion for fried food was as strong as ever. Maybe I'll try making a pizza with the bread dough. In that case, I might need to use a little. Don't worry about it. I'll cover all the food costs, so if you see anything you're curious about, go ahead and buy it. Once we got to the market, Barth and I looked around the stalls. The plan was for me to buy ingredients for our test run, while Barth bought supplies for the inn. My mind was already completely set on pizza and pasta. We passed by the shop where I'd bought river shrimp before. They had some impressive-looking shrimp for sale again today. A seafood pizza sounds good. They weren't too expensive, so I decided to buy a large amount. Barth was buying a ton of tomatoes, so I didn't need any. The inn always had meat stocked, so all that was left was maybe cheese. Do they have different kinds of cheese here? They sell a few types. This way. The cheese shop had about 5 different varieties. I bought a soft, moist one that seemed like it would work for pizza, and a hard cheese that I could grate. Barth was buying a significant amount of ingredients for the inn, so I could just use some of his stuff. There wasn't much else I needed to get. Oh, is this smoked meat? At one stall, a block of meat that looked like bacon was hanging up. That's smoked big boar meat. It's preserved food. I've never seen it at the inn. You don't use it for cooking? No, you can definitely use this. Hey, you know your stuff, mister. This stuff is delicious, but it's not popular around here at all. I was surprised myself when I brought it in. The shopkeeper suddenly joined our conversation. A traveling merchant, maybe, since he brought it in? Did you bring this from far away? All the way from Starvacay. Well, it's called aloes now, I guess. Can I try a little piece? Sure thing. He shaved off a small piece from the hanging smoked meat and let me taste it. It was a bit saltier and harder than the bacon I knew, but it would definitely work. All right, I'll take this smaller block here. Thanks for your business. I bought the bacon and some fresh herbs that looked like basil, and my shopping was done. I helped Barth with his shopping, and then we left the market. You didn't buy a lot of ingredients. Are you sure that's enough? Yeah, I'll be using some of the ingredients you bought, so it's plenty. We got back to the inn, carried the ingredients into the kitchen, and started cooking right away. First, let's try making pasta. Oh, looks like Sarachan is here to observe. My dad said my job was to be the taste tester, so I haven't eaten lunch yet. I'm starving, she said. Is that so? Well, I'll get started right away.
First, I'm going to try making a dish called pasta. Oh, what kind of dish is that? It's a dish that uses something made from kneading wheat flour, stretching it thin, and boiling it. Ever heard of anything like it? Yeah, I've heard rumors of something like that in some country. Oh, it exists here. I think this might be a little different, but let's give it a try. First, we need to make the dough. I put flour, salt, vegetable oil, and eggs into a bowl and began to knead. I'll give you a memo with the ingredient amounts later, so you don't need to memorize it. Knead it well, knead it well. This should be about right. I'll wrap the dough in a damp cloth and let it rest for a bit. In the meantime, I'll make the meat sauce. I really want him to learn the most basic pasta sauce, which has to be meat sauce. First, I'll make the tomato sauce base. I want to use it for the pizza too, so I'll make a little extra. It was basically the same tomato sauce I used for the oma rice. While it was simmering, I had Sarachan use the mixer to mince the big boar meat. I sautéed minced garlic in a frying pan until fragrant, then added finely chopped onions and carrots and cooked them well. Then I added the minced meat and sautéed it thoroughly. Once it looked good, I added the basic tomato sauce I just made. I'll throw in some dried herbs for aroma. I seasoned it lightly with salt and pepper and had a taste with Barth. The umami from the meat was there, but it was still missing something. It's just not the same without consommé. I'll adjust the flavor with the ketchup and sauce that Barth always keeps on hand. Yes, that's much better. I let Barth taste it. How is it? Yeah, it's delicious, Alan. Is this a type of sauce? That's right. It's a sauce to put on pasta. The pasta dough should be about ready by now. I dusted it with flour, then rolled it out into a flat, round sheet with a rolling pin. Once it was thin enough, I dusted it with more flour and folded it. After folding it into a log shape, I used a knife to cut it into strips just under 1 centimeter wide, then gently separated them. And there you have it, flat pasta tagliatelle. Let's boil it right away. I brought a pot of water to a boil, added a good amount of salt, and then dropped in the pasta. Should be about done. I drained the cooked tagliatelle, topped it with the meat sauce, grated the hard cheese I bought at the market over it, and voila! Tagliatelle with meat sauce was complete. All right, it's done. Whoa, what is this dish? I swear on my life, no one in this country has ever seen anything like this. It looks so delicious, said Sarachan. Let's have a taste. We mixed it with the meat sauce, served it onto our individual plates, and tasted it. Delicious. For something I just winged, it turned out to be a proper tagliatelle with meat sauce. The umami of the big boar meat, the tomato sauce, the sweetness of the sautéed onions and carrots, the harmony was perfect. The grated cheese and meat sauce went together perfectly as well. What is this? It's so chewy and delicious, said Sarachan. Yeah, it's amazing. To think a dish like this existed in the world, said Barth. There are dozens, maybe hundreds of different sauces you can put on pasta. I'll write down a few recipes for you later. Whoa, Alan, please do. Next, I'm going to make a dish called pizza. Barth, can I have some of that bread dough? Sure, it's over here. Barth opened a shelf where about 5 balls of what looked like bread dough were wrapped in damp cloths. So this is bread dough. Where's the stuff that makes the bread rise? The starter? Barth handed me a container with a dough-like substance inside. Ah, so this is the starter. I prodded the bread dough with my finger. I see. I can't really tell the difference between this and pizza dough. I poked the starter with my finger too. Now what should I do? Bread dough and pizza dough are made differently, and naturally, they bake differently. I could probably force it and make something that looks the part, but I want Barth to taste a proper pizza. That's it. Iris. Yes, Captain. I want to turn this bread dough into pizza dough somehow. What should I do? Oh, and I want a Neapolitan-style pizza. I'm a fan of Neapolitan pizza with its puffy, chewy, and crispy crust more than the thin, cracker-like Roman style. I believe I am the first military-grade AI in the long history of the Empire to be asked such a question. I'm in a bind here. Please help. To that bread dough, please add 52 grams of flour and 30 milliliters of water, and knead it again. The result should be quite close. You're a lifesaver. Thanks. Oh, and could you create a pizza dough recipe that uses the starter? Understood. Following Iris's instructions, I added the ingredients and re-kneaded the bread dough. All right, this should probably work. I decided to divide the pizza dough in two and make 2 different kinds of pizza.
I'd use the same basic tomato sauce for both, but one would feature bacon, and the other would use the river shrimp as the main topping. Barth and I shelled the river shrimp together. We also had bacon, onions, bell peppers, and mushrooms, so I chopped those up as well. Oh, and I had to finally chop the cheese I bought at the market. For the pizza sauce, I used the tomato sauce I'd made earlier. I rolled the pizza dough out into thin, round circles with a rolling pin. Of course, I was making Neapolitan-style pizza with a puffy crust. I spread the tomato sauce on the dough and added the toppings. A generous amount of cheese. I'll drizzle some mayonnaise on top as well. In no time at all, 2 different pizzas were ready. All right, let's bake these in the oven. I want to bake this in the oven. What? You're gonna bake this in the kiln? If you'd told me, I would have fired it up. I messed up. With this wood-fired oven, it would probably take a while to heat up enough to start baking. Hey, is it okay if I heat this up with magic? Huh? You can do that? I'll give it a try. Sada-chan, it's dangerous, so stand back a bit. Let's see. If I use too much firepower, I might break the kiln. I'll increase the heat gradually. A flame, like that from a flamethrower, shot out from the space in front of me towards the kiln with a whoosh. I adjusted the shape of the flame to heat the entire kiln evenly.
"This is magic? Amazing!" exclaimed Sarah-chan. I kept the flame going for about a minute, then stopped. "Nanam, is the temperature inside the kiln appropriate?" "It is a little low, but there should be no problem." "Barth, how's this?" "Yeah, that should be fine. But man, that's incredible, Alan." "Well, I may not look it, but I'm an A rank at the Magician's Guild. Pretty handy, right?" "You're already an A rank?" I asked Barth to place the 2 pizzas deep inside the oven. Since the temperature was a little low, it might take a little longer. The pizzas were done in about 10 minutes. When we took them out of the oven, the crusts were properly puffed up and they looked perfect. Oh, and I'll tear up some of that basil-like herb and sprinkle it on top. And it's done. Let's eat. I cut the pizza and we all had a taste. First, the bacon pizza. Delicious. The bake is perfect. The crispy texture of the bacon, the crunch of the vegetables, and the way the hot cheese stretches, it's wonderful. The pizza I had imagined was right here. The river shrimp pizza was also excellent. The plump texture of the shrimp was irresistible. The mayonnaise and tomato sauce were a perfect match. "Wow, this is delicious too. I think this might be my favorite," said Sarah-chan. "Oh, this is amazing! To think you can get this much flavor just by putting toppings on and baking it. It looks great too. This dish is sure to blow the customers' minds." This dish, pizza, has all sorts of variations depending on the toppings you put on it. You should experiment with different things. "Oh, leave it to me. I'll do it." There was still plenty of time before we had to start preparing dinner. All right, let's try making risotto too. We still have some shrimp left over that we couldn't fit on the pizza and a lot of shrimp heads. I can probably make a good stock with these. All right, next up is a dish called risotto. First, let's make a stock to extract the shrimp's flavor and umami. I brought a pot of water to a boil, added the shrimp heads and shells, and simmered them for about 10 minutes to make a shrimp stock. When I tasted it, it had a rich, shrimpy flavor. It was a complex, deep taste that came from the shrimp brains and shells. First, I'll lightly saute the shrimp meat. If I simmer it with the rice, the shrimp will get tough and small. After a quick saute, I set it aside on a plate. Then I sauteed minced garlic, followed by chopped onions, chopped red bell peppers, and unwashed rice. Once the rice turned white, I gradually added the shrimp stock and cooked the rice on low heat. Okay, it should be about done. After checking to see if the rice was cooked, I added cheese, salt, and pepper to adjust the flavor. All right, it's done. It's finished. Let's have a taste. Barth, Sarah-chan, and I served the risotto onto our plates and tried it. The first thing that hits you is the rich flavor of the shrimp, but the cheese makes it milder and it's not at all overpowering. The taste of shrimp, which I hadn't had in a while, felt strangely delicious. For something I threw together, the quality was high. Delicious! This is so good! I've never eaten anything like this before. I'm going to let my mom have a taste. Yeah, it's amazing. It reminds me of the food in a seaside town I visited back when I was an adventurer. I'm shocked you can get such a fine flavor from cheap river shrimp heads. To think I've been throwing them away all this time. What a fool! Looks like you liked it. Liked it? I more than liked it. All the dishes you taught me today were incredible. I'm even more in your debt now. Don't worry about it. You've helped me out too. I owe you one, Alan. I guess that's it for today. Isn't it about time to start getting dinner ready? Yeah, you're right. But now that you've taught me all this, I want to serve at least one of these new dishes tonight. This risotto. I want to perfect it while you're still here, Ellen. But we're out of shrimp. Sarah, go to the market and buy all the river shrimp they have. He handed her some money and gave her instructions. There were a ton of river shrimp in the tank at the stall, so they probably weren't sold out, but buying all of them was pretty intense. After some discussion, we decided on tonight's menu: hamburger steak, shrimp and cheese risotto, and a potato salad with plenty of soft-boiled eggs. Barth and I started prepping the food together. As we cooked, I lectured him on various ways to arrange the dishes. Before long, orders started coming in from early customers. Risotto wasn't a particularly difficult dish, so after making it a few times, Barth had already made it his own. "Alan-san, you have a visitor," said Sarah-chan. I poked my head out of the kitchen to see who it was, and it was Willie, one of Tarsan's employees. "Hey, if it wasn't Willie, what's up?" "Excuse me, Alan-san. Tarsan and his family would like to come here for dinner tonight. I was wondering if there would be any seats available, for 5 people in total." The dining hall was already half full.
What do you think, Barth? Tarsan has helped me out a lot, so I'd like to accommodate him if possible. Whoa, you mean Tarsan from the big trading company? I kick customers out to make room for him. But let's see, I think there should be plenty of open seats in about an hour. That's what he said. Is that okay, Willie? Understood. Thank you very much. Claria and the others had returned, so I told them we'd have dinner in an hour. It would be better to eat with Tarsan and his family anyway. Besides, I still had to help out in the kitchen. But man, to think the Tarsan is coming to my place for dinner? This is a huge deal, Alan. Is it? Oh, that's right. Tarsan runs a restaurant too, doesn't he? It's not just a restaurant. It's a high-class establishment that's reservation only. It's on a completely different level from a place like this. Wow, that's amazing. But it seemed like Tarsan thought highly of you, Barth. He's the one who recommended this inn to me, after all. Is that so? Well, then I'll have to pull out all the stops tonight. Barth and I continue to cook in silence. Alan-san, Tarsan and his family are here. Ria and the others are already at their seats. Got it. Barth, can I leave the rest to you? Yeah, you've been a great help, Alan. I went to the dining hall. A good number of seats had opened up, and it was only about 30% full. Tarsan and his family were sitting at the table next to Claria's table. The rest of his party consisted of his wife, his daughter Tara-chan, his son Kator, and Jonas-san. Good evening, Tarsan. Good evening, Alan-san. I just couldn't wait any longer. You came at the perfect time. We have a new menu tonight. I heard you were in the kitchen yourself today, Alan-san. I'm really looking forward to it. I joined Claria and the others at their table. The food was brought out right away. The main course was a large cheese-stuffed hamburger steak. It was covered in a quick demi-glace sauce made with onions, mushrooms, red wine, ketchup, and sauce. On the side were slightly sweet glazed carrots and a vegetable that looked like boiled broccoli served with mayonnaise. And then there was the new menu item, shrimp and cheese risotto. It was garnished with the fresh, parsley-like herb and had a stronger kick of coarsely ground black pepper than the test version.
Furthermore, it was a potato salad unlike the usual one, a sort of egg and potato salad mixed with a generous amount of soft-boiled eggs, of course with plenty of mayonnaise. Oh, this isn't the usual hamburger steak. Claria noted, sharp as ever, Rhea. The sauce is completely different. And also, try cutting into the hamburger. Whoa, there's cheese stuffed inside. Yeah, it turned out pretty well. Alan-san, what in the world is this dish? Tarsan exclaimed. It seemed Tarsan had tried the risotto. Ah, that's a dish from my homeland called risotto. I hope you're not averse to the flavor of shrimp. No, far from it. This is the most delicious thing I have ever eaten. That was relief. If he disliked shrimp, the rich flavor would have been too much. No, Father, you have to try this dish. This one is definitely more delicious, said Couture. It seemed Couture was a fan of the hamburger steak. I think I like the salad the best. It is very delicious. Tara-chan liked the potato salad. Maybe she's a mayonnaise lover. From both tables, I could hear murmurs of delicious, and led by Claudia, people were already asking for seconds. I had been taste testing all day, so I wasn't very hungry. I'll enjoy it slowly with a glass of wine. Alan-san, I had heard of your reputation, but I never imagined the food would be this incredible. Is that so? I'm glad you enjoyed it. The recipes are part of it, of course, but the chef, Barth, is very skilled. I'm sure he is. Every dish truly conveyed his passion for cooking. It was true. I had never met anyone with more passion for cooking than Barth. If he hadn't been so enthusiastic, I probably wouldn't have been so proactive about teaching him recipes. Tarsan and his family left looking completely satisfied. Listening to Claria and the others, it seemed today's training had also been a very fruitful day. They were all fired up, saying that they would have a mock battle tomorrow after Serena and Sharon's armor adjustments were finished. I was pretty tired from cooking so much for the first time in a while, but I should at least finish the recipe memos for Barth. In about an hour, I managed to write up about 10 pages of recipes. As for the preliminary drawings for the magic circles, that would have to wait until tomorrow. For tonight, I'll just take a bath and go to bed.